Welcome, my fellow geeks, nerds, wrestling marks, and everything in between. This is going to be the first edition of what we're going to call the Flash Freeze. And the reason we're going to call it the Flash Freeze is because when big news happens and it breaks, out of nowhere and the entire Blizzard world freezes out of the shock, I think it's a good name, the Flash Freeze. So the reason we're doing this, the Docta and I just I shared a huge piece of news with the Docta. Literally at the time of this recording, like late at night at 11 o'clock or something my time. And we decided that we had to do this right away because the news is so shocking that we had to share it. We had to try to be the first ones to get it out there. For those of you that may not have heard, and that will hear probably in the next 24 to 48 hours, Thrall himself, Chris Metzen, is leaving Blizzard Entertainment. Doc, your thoughts?
I'll be honest, man, for a really long time, I didn't even know who the guy was. You could have told me that name, and I would have known nothing. But to know that this is the creative mind behind Azeroth itself, behind Overwatch,
Warcraft.
yeah,
Behind the Warcraft franchise,
period.
dude.
Period. The first man to say, "Ooh, this is an orc, and this is Thrall, and this orc will be called Thrall, and Thrall shall save this planet." Like, dude.
Yeah, dude. The first voice to have uttered "Docta." I mean,
Yes.
that is, and I tell you, I've been saying it. I hate to be negative. I hate to put a negative connotation on all this, but I've been saying this since last year when we were still doing WoW Talk. There is huge dissension in the ranks behind closed doors at Blizzard Entertainment. Now, for those of you that may not be aware of another piece of news that was not quite as shocking, but pretty significant if you follow the gaming world closely, the way I do. I don't think for 1 second that it's a coincidence that it was announced that the former lead developer of World of Warcraft, along with 20 to 30 of his former colleagues who are also ex-Blizzard employees who worked on Diablo and World of Warcraft, have started their own studio named Bonfire Studios. Fast forward 6 hours later, and we hear that Chris Metzen is retiring from Blizzard. Coincidence? I think not, my man. There's no such thing.
This is what happens when you sign agreements with really big companies who take over your game, and you lose more than half of your subscribers in freaking one foul swoop. I mean, this, I don't know. The first sign, and we mentioned it when it happened, was at the Legion announcement, when it wasn't Chris Metzen who got up and really said hardly anything. And you could tell, man, like, they're falling apart then. You could tell when they went back on their word for no flying in WoD. And when poor Ian Hazacostas, or whatever his name is running around going back on his words and eating them over and over and over, left and right. Yeah, there isn't going to be flying. Yeah, there will. But it's going to be really hard. No, there isn't anymore. Yeah, I guess there is. Here's the way it's going to happen. Well, maybe not. Da 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 da. And then to go in and have to announce Legion, and Metzen's basically MIA for that announcement. I don't even know if he was there. Was he? I can't remember. But I mean, for those of you who are going to BlizzCon this year, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to BlizzCon this year. I was there last year. Metzen hasn't been part of a huge World of Warcraft related announcement legit since the cinematic for Warlords of Draenor was released. That was the last time he was part of a major WoW announcement. I mean, and it's no secret. I've always had my theories as to why that is. I mean, but because I have such tremendous respect for the man that created a world that I have fallen in love with and characters that I have fallen in love with, I have to do him justice and I have to read his blue post. Okay? I'm going to read it word for word. It's pretty lengthy, but I think we at least owe the man that, and I think the Doctor would agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I quote, "I had just turned 20 years old when I started working at Blizzard. Seems like a lifetime ago. Guess it was. Those first few years were the start of a very grand adventure for me. One that would take me around the world, introduce me to thousands of wonderful geeks just like me, and ultimately shape the course of my adult life. Of course, when I started, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I had no idea how to make games or build entertainment products. But I had an insatiable passion for ideas, for stories, for heroes. My only real training before joining Blizzard was the long-running D&D campaign I had with my closest friends. Sam, Mike P, Daniel, and Mikey C. You know who you are, boys. Hamro! Building ideas, vast worldscapes, characters, and plot lines with my friends was my first great love. I lived for it. It was a safe space amid the tension and change of some rough teenage years. The grand refuge of D&D was a glorious meeting of minds and the imaginations where I felt I truly belonged. It was a space where friendship and imagination were inextricably linked. The sharing of ideas on the fly, the crazy, unexpected turns other players would take, it stretched our imaginations in ways we'd never have dreamt of on our own. I love how role-playing through adventures taught us so much about each other, and more often than not, ourselves. Imagining together helped us make sense of the crazy world we were growing up in. It made us stronger together. I wouldn't really understand the depth of it for many years, but I had learned an important truth from my friends back then. Creativity is relational. Looking back at my years at Blizzard, I see now how profoundly this idea has shaped my career. I see how profoundly my friends and coworkers at Blizzard have shaped me as a person. For nearly 23 years, I have had the very distinct privilege of shaping worlds and building games with the brightest creative minds in entertainment. I've walked with giants and stood on some giants' shoulders too. In short, I've had the time of my life. I pretty much had the coolest job ever, but the truth is sometimes it was really hard. Building games with dozens of brilliant, passionate alpha geeks with their own red-hot instincts and perspectives can be pretty tricky. Coming to consensus about certain design decisions, story motives, or courses of art direction takes a lot of communication, patience, and give and take. It stretches you. Sometimes it wasn't all that pretty. But engaging with your teammates and collaborating through the potential quagmire of all the creative tension is where the real magic happens. It's not just the decisions you come to or even the final shape of the product you craft. It's bigger than that, and infinitely more important. True collaboration builds trust, and trust is the basis of all lasting relationships. With trust, you build more than just a great product. You build a tribe. That can build anything. A family of craftsmen. That's what Blizzard has done, or has been for me, My second family. Through all of life's ups and downs, it's always been there. The great geeky backdrop of my life. I don't just mean the job, in quotation marks, or even the creative mission, but the people. The people who over and over lifted me up, believed in me, and pushed me to find my potential as both an artist and as a leader all these years. To my Blizzard brothers and sisters, I wish I had the words. Everything just sounds trite. All I can think of is, you helped me believe in myself and achieve every one of my wildest dreams. I am forever grateful to all of you. I love you all with everything I've got. Thank you. And to all of you out there in Blizzard's vast gaming community, those of you I've had the pleasure of meeting in person and all around the world I've only heard about, thank you. Thank you all for letting me be a special part of your community. For letting me belong to you, we've shared countless adventures together and have always been overwhelmed and humbled by your passion for our games, as well as your commitment to each other. Thank you for all the BlizzCon hugs, smiles, handshakes, and stories over the years. You will never know how much you've all touched my heart and inspired me to give my all into this craft. With that said, I'll try to get down to the point here. I've come to a turn in the road. A new, far quieter chapter in my life looms ahead. I am retiring. Yep, hanging up my guns, clocking out, taking the last Griffin out of Stormwind. You get the picture. Crazy, I know. It's a massive change for me, but it's one I've been looking forward to for a while now. It's ironic given the fact that things have never been better or more energized at Blizzard. Just this year alone has been incredible. Legion's arrival, the launch of Overwatch, the Warcraft feature film. I've never been more proud of Blizzard and the quality of the products than I am now. It's remarkable that even after all these years, we can still reach new heights and take the world for an amazing ride. I believe Blizzard's future is brighter than ever. I won't lie. It's going to be really hard stepping away from these worlds that I love and that I helped create. But I'm content that I'm leaving them in the hands of the most passionate, talented, and dedicated craftsmen ever assembled. I can't wait to see where Blizzard's worlds go next and to experience them firsthand like everybody else does. as a fan, as an adventurer, right back to the start. That's just so cool. The reason I use the words the reason I use the word retire in quotation marks is because I'm not going to some other company or starting up new projects or anything remotely like that. It's been a long, amazing stretch of years. Now it's time to slow it down, rest, lay around the couch and get fat. Well, fatter. Seriously though, I'll be focusing on the one thing that matters most to me in all the world, my family. They're the core of my life and the source of my deepest joy and inspiration. In addition to raising our two little ones, we recently welcomed our new baby into the family. Being home with them all, having time and space to really live, to love my wife with all my strength, that's my career now. And I've never been happier. Ever. Peace out, y'all. I love you all. I'll see you online. Chris. End quote. Your thoughts, Doctor. Yeah, your thoughts, man.
Well, good for you, Chris. Wish you luck with that. Can't wait to see what you and your homeboys. You haven't said it yet, obviously, but I know you guys are all nerds at heart, dude, and it ain't the end of Metzen inspired worlds. You know he has something else waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And you know it's something that he hasn't been able to do. I mean, he
just can't talk about it yet. He can't talk about it yet.
Well, yeah, and just look at Overwatch, man. What was Overwatch? Project Titan, dude. And they pulled it out from under him. You don't think he's coming back with vengeance? You don't think he's got something in his mind? After seeing what Overwatch was able to do, he says, no, yeah, man, I still have it. My worlds have potential, and these guys just won't let me do it because they're too busy ruining Azeroth.
That's how you take it.
With my name. That's how I look at it.
You're interpreting it pretty much the same way I am. Now, I find it extremely intriguing that he makes it a point in this heartfelt goodbye, because it's heartfelt. I'm not going to say it's fake. In this heartfelt goodbye to his fans, I find it very intriguing that he takes a moment to discuss the hard times and the tribulations in the most professional and nicest way possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we as a community have really given him more than his fair share of hard times and tribulations, let me tell you. I mean, WoW players are not the nicest, pretty much notoriously mean, and all addicts are, right? Let's be honest here, but it's got to be hard, man, stepping away from your baby. This is what he created. Like he said right there, man. Him and his buddies in a D&D game. Here's a cool world, and it became so much more. I mean, that is every nerd's dream, is to be able to create their world and watch as millions of people enjoy it. And the hardest part of it, I would imagine, is the fact that millions of people have stepped away from it. Legion's great, don't get me wrong. Legion's doing well. But how long until... Is it even his anymore? Does that make sense?
I mean, you can make the argument very accurately that it's really not. I'm sorry, but like I said before, I apologize deeply for taking a negative approach to it, but I'm sorry, man. I don't believe for 1 second that, especially when we're only, 2.5 months, or a month and a half from BlizzCon, as of the time of this recording, middle of September 2016, we're only a month and a half from BlizzCon, and a month and a half from BlizzCon, on the same day that Bonfire Studios is announced, on the same year that Overwatch is released, which we all know was his baby, along with Kaplan, that he just decides to leave when Overwatch hasn't even seen a fraction of the potential. I'm sorry, man. I don't buy it for 1 second. I just don't. There's some, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier. There has been dissension in the ranks specifically when it comes to WoW, behind closed doors for a while, a long time. And I believe that it stems from the large acquisition or partnership that all started back when it became Activision Blizzard and it ceased to just be Blizzard.
Yeah. It's we'll see what happens,
How do you think? What do you? Well, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and make a prediction right here. They're not. It's not going to be announced right away, and he's not going to say anything right away because he's probably got some clause in his contract that prevents him from, a no complete clause that prevents him from doing stuff for a prolonged amount of time. It's pretty common. It's pretty common in the professional world, people. In case you didn't know. But mark my words, 6 to 8 months from now, it'll be officially announced that Chris Metzen is now working for Bonfire Studios. You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first. Now, that doesn't mean that it's gospel. And if it doesn't happen, I don't want anybody being like, well, Mr. Strainhead, you said that Chris Metzen. No, it's simply a prediction, and it's my opinion. But man, do I have a strong feeling in my gut about this one. I don't know about you, Doc.
He could. It even could be that he's not one of the designers. Does that make sense? He could legit just create a world and hand them a stack of papers and say, go ahead and program this, make it look the way you picture it, and we'll talk about it from there. I mean, he could be taking them a world. He doesn't have to work for him. He doesn't have to, this is his passion.
He's an artist first and foremost, and he's he creates stories and world. That's what he does. He doesn't have to design or even come into the office, bro. It's like he could be on Skype, like, bro, look what I just drew. Yeah. Put this guy in the game.
Yeah, he doesn't need any of that crap, man, for real. And anyone who thinks that he's waiting for that is ignorant.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge shock to the point where, like I said, the doc was like, "Hey, Mr. Strategy, we need to talk about this now. We can't wait a few days to do a regular recording, man." So in comes the idea that we just came up with in literally 5 minutes about the flash freeze. I think we named it after a mage spell because the whole world freezes with breaking news from Blizzard Entertainment, and holy shit, has this been breaking. I still can't believe my eyes from when I first saw it. Holy shit, Chris Metzen. But this shit's been going on. Last year, we lost the dude with the big hair and the big beard, okay? I read 6 hours ago about the lead creative designer from WoW, all through Cataclysm, starting his own company, and now Metzen leaving. I'm sorry, man, but the stars are aligning. The stars are aligning. And it's very interesting because, like Metzen himself said in his post, Blizzard is in, financially, they're in the best spot they've ever been. Yet, that says a lot about a company, does it, when they're in the best spot they've ever been financially, and you're losing core people. What does that say? What does that mean?
It means one thing, and we've been saying it since more than a year. Almost 2 years ago we started saying it. And that is dissension in the ranks, man. You got the money grubbers who are sitting in the back and they don't care about the artistic side of things at all. They don't really care where the story goes, as long as they can sell you your new mount for $20 or get you to buy your token for $20, or I can't begin to think how they're going to design anything, if they're going to design what's going to happen. All I know is that they have one of the best, if not the best, creative mind for working worlds.
Anything. They could do anything with Metzen in their corner. He's proven that. He's proven that he can do whatever, man. I mean, for a long time, it's obviously with Warcraft and then Azeroth and everything that he's been able to do with the Azeroth universe, but look what he did with Overwatch, man. He took the PvP aspect of what was supposed to be a massive game and made it into characters that people instantly fell in love with, a world that people instantly fell in love with. With Chris Metzen at the helm of a creative team, dude, holy crap, the things that can be done.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what exactly happens, because I mean, first and foremost here, to the man, if he ever hears this, enjoy your time with your family while you can. Like, that is such an important thing. I respect anyone who steps out and sees when it's time to hang out with the little ones and that stuff. Awesome. When you're ready, I am excited to see what you have planned and what you have been creating in your free time. Because I bet he still plays his D&D games with his homeboys. It's a game that can't, like, it'll never get old. I love Dungeons and Dragons. Don't have very many people to play with out here, but I love it. And creating worlds is a passion I think everyone that's ever played has in common. But to be someone in a position where one of your worlds has already succeeded, two of your worlds has already succeeded, 3, 4, however many, and to say, yeah, no, I want to put another one out there, and to have the backing to be able to do that, that is a rare gift from everyone around you. And when you're ready, freaking make it work and take us on another adventure. I'm ready, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And, I hate to sound like a broken record, but, I just can't get over the fact that he was as professional and as kind as possible, yet made it a point to talk about some negatives. I think there's a reason for that. You have to read between the lines. At the end of the day, it's a blue post with Blizzard Entertainment at the top of the page, right? So,
yes,
it's like a politician. Like I said, he can't say much right now. Okay? People can think what they want right now. No, dude, you're making too much out of it. He's just retiring, bro. Yeah, okay. All right. It's just that he can't talk about it right now. He's got a no-compete clause in his contract. He can't talk about shit. But mark my words, 6-7 months from now, you're going to be hearing. And on that note, my fellow geeks and nerds, we hope that you have enjoyed our very first edition of what will be known as the Flash Freeze. Whenever emergency breaking news hits that just is too big to wait a few days to talk about on Blizz Talk, you'll hear it first on Freeze. Well, hopefully you'll hear it first here. And, the Doc and I, we'll see y'all later.